Good morning. Bonjour à tous. My name is Sonia Shorey. I have the pleasure of serving as Director of Communications here at Bayview Yards and with Invest Ottawa. Honored to join you this morning as your MC for this very special partner announcement event and the opening of MadeMill, our advanced manufacturing digital media laboratory. C'est un immense plaisir de vous accueillir en si grand nombre ici au Cours Bayview. And I would like to extend a very warm welcome to all the distinguished guests gathered with us today, including the Honourable Catherine Mckenna, Member of Parliament for Ottawa Centre and Minister of Environment and Climate Change, the Honourable Bob Farrelly, Minister of Infrastructure with the Government of Ontario, the Honourable Yasser Naqvi, Member of Parliament Provincial for Ottawa Centre, Attorney General of Ontario, and His Worship Mayor Jim Watson, who will join us shortly. These leaders are true champions of innovation, entrepreneurship, and our region. And there are many different types of innovation hubs, as you know, across this country. Some focus on specific sectors, companies, expertise. Our innovation hub is very differentiated, just like Ottawa. It's not simply a collection of market, business, and technical resources under one roof. The transformation of this heritage building is truly remarkable, but the true power of Bayview Yards is the value that we create together inside. It's created by the passionate people and partners gathered here today and many others across our region who support us. It's an epicenter for collaboration, business acceleration, and job creation, and a hub for some of our greatest talent, technology, and trade. And it's giving new lift to possibilities here in Ottawa every single day. And now more than ever, we want to help bring everything Ottawa has to offer to the world. We have an exciting program for you today, and one that kicks off with two proven leaders who have played a pivotal role in the establishment of this innovation hub and contributed to our thriving technology sector. It's a pleasure to welcome Steve West, President of Westmax Group, former CEO of Nordion and Chair of the Board of Bayview Yards, and David Ratonja, Vice President, Broadband Access Business Unit North America for Nokia Networks, and Co-Chair of the Board of Directors of Invest Ottawa, to the podium.
Thanks, Sonia. I'm Steve.
And I'm Dave.
Bonjour à tous. C'est un grand plaisir d'être ici aujourd'hui. It's our pleasure to welcome you to Bayview Yards and Invest Ottawa this morning as we celebrate another milestone in our community, which is the culmination of more than 18 months of hard work, perseverance, inspiration, perspiration, commitment by a very dedicated group of people from government, industry, and academia.
Bienvenue en cette journée excitante. Partnerships matter in the economic development world. It really does matter. When we started Invest Ottawa a number of years ago, there was a clear belief that an innovation center in our city would actually foster collaboration across key elements of the community. And partnership involves our government partners, academia represented here today, and also industry. And I think we're seeing actually the evolution of that story by the announcement of the partnerships that will happen today. So clearly it's an exciting day and one that signals even greater momentum to come.
The enthusiasm of our community, excuse me, with more than 300 guests registered for the day, underscores the excitement across the ecosystem here, and it also demonstrates the commitment of our community to work together to bolster the commercial success of our entrepreneurs, our firms, and the regional economy that we have here. Before we actually get into the program itself, again, I would also like to echo the thanks of the special guests that have joined us today and the champions of innovation who are on the stage with us, as well as you in the audience as well, making such a significant contribution. Again, the Honourable Catherine Mckenna, MP for Ottawa Centre, and Minister of Environment and Climate Change, the Honourable Bob Chiaretti, who's Minister of Infrastructure, and the Honourable Yasser Naqvi, Government of Ontario, both of whom serve as our champions of Bayview Yards and Invest Ottawa for us at Queen's Park. I would also like to recognize Dalton McGuinty, who is with us here today in the front row, who is our former Premier of Ontario, whose vision, leadership, and critical contribution from the provincial government of $15 million in 2013 that really was the catalyst that made all this possible. And Dalton, on behalf of Bayview Yards and our community, would like to thank you for your far-seated vision in turning this dream into a reality. Thank you.
And continuing on that theme from a partnership perspective and those that contribute, I'd like to acknowledge Mayor Jim Watson, who will be joining us shortly. Jim actually co-chairs the Invest Ottawa board. He's also been an active board member on the Innovation Center board as well. And he championed a lot of these initiatives that we're driving in the city from an economic development perspective. This was done with tremendous support from Jeff Leiper, councillor of Kitchissippi Ward, and all of City Council had a major role contributing to this. I'd like to acknowledge Saad Bashir. Those involved in economic development in our city probably know Saad quite well. He used to be economic development director and had a very proactive hands-on role in evolving the center and making it what it is today. The board members, there's a number of them here today on both the Invest Ottawa and the Innovation Center board. They are volunteer boards of leaders in our community that make a lot of time to help this cause, and we're seeing the difference. We're sitting in it today. Mike Tremblay, our new president and CEO of Invest Ottawa, happy to have him on board. He's got quite the challenge ahead of him, but at an exciting time for our city. And also like to acknowledge a special guest, Alain Baudouin, Vice President of FedDev Ontario, and they had a key role in funding the establishment of activities here in the center, including MadeMill, and we hope as part of the tour, people will go take a look at it. It's a phenomenal makerspace, really, really innovative and exciting. And as well, I'd like to acknowledge Tony Belletti, who I think I've seen in the room here. There he is. Also a key player from a cybersecurity accelerator program, which again has been facilitated through FedDev funding. So a lot of great things happening here.
Well, that's a pretty amazing roster of contributors and champions, and these leaders have fueled our progress to date. Dave, you and I have been in the innovation space for quite a time with our private sector hats on, and we know there are many critical success factors for successful innovation, starting with a great idea and imagination, leveraging knowledge, people, teamwork, resources, and bringing a product with some unique capabilities that meets an unmet need in a global marketplace. That sounds pretty simple, doesn't it?
Sounds simple.
Sounds simple. One of the key ingredients that really will make a difference to the entrepreneurs undertaking their journey is having leverage with the private sector, being able to leverage private sector expertise, knowledge, resources, contacts, experience, both good and bad, that make a difference and give you that competitive edge. So today, we are delighted to welcome 8 new founding sponsors that will inject more than $1.3 million to support our innovation hub here and support the innovators, the entrepreneurs, and all the firms that we serve at Bayview Yards. These sponsors are going to fuel our innovation and entrepreneurship, and they will provide that critical investment, technology, and connectivity that's required. So on behalf of the whole community here, we'd like to extend our heartfelt thanks to our premier sponsors, RBC, Canada's largest bank and one of the largest banks in the world based on market cap, and Flex, the sketch-to-scale solutions provider that designs and manufactures and distributes intelligent products for a connected world. And also our major sponsors, Rogers, which is a leading diversified Canadian communications and media company, and CIBC, a leading Canadian-based global financial institution and lead partner, of course, in Ottawa 2017 for Canada's 150th anniversary.
Great. So let me acknowledge our technology sponsor. And I was actually fortunate enough to get a bit of a tour by, or demonstration this morning by Neil. I4C Technologies, and I really do hope if you stay for the tour, you get a chance to see what they have because it's very innovative and quite cool. Our innovation sponsor, so BDO, one of the largest national accounting advisory partnerships in Canada, BDC, the Business Development Bank, and the only financial institution dedicated exclusively to entrepreneurs, and Algonquin College of Applied Arts and Technology, public college that transforms, helps dreams into lifelong success. And by the way, I will acknowledge Cheryl is on the Invest Ottawa board and is quite an active community participant, so thank you. The valued contribution of these founding sponsors builds on $38 million of anchor investment at all three levels of government. It will strengthen the capabilities available to our local innovators and firms, helping accelerate their commercial success, job creation, and contribution to the economy. In addition to investment, sponsors will collaborate and contribute to the innovation community in different ways. Working closely with Bayview Yards, Invest Ottawa, and our partners, this includes everything from complimentary consultations to educational workshops, new on-site technological capabilities, business and investment guidance, and linkages, just to name a few. So there's a lot that bringing industry into this brings to our innovators and our startups.
So we're just starting. It's just the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more to come. But thank you again to all our founding sponsors and our partners across all levels of government and the private sector, because it truly is going to be a team effort, because there are icebergs and there are mountains to climb, but together we can make it to the top. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve and Dave. Now, on the heels of that incredible announcement, it's my pleasure to introduce Ms. Lynette Gillen, Regional Vice President of Commercial Financial Services with RBC Royal Bank, a premier sponsor of Bayview Yards. Please join me in welcoming her to our stage and to our innovation community.
Thank you, Sonia. I'm very excited to be here this morning and at this beautiful brand new Innovation Center, and proud to be hosting you here in the newly branded RBC Foundry. The picture at the back is lovely. Whoever put that together, it's very nice. As the premier and founding sponsor of the Innovation Center, RBC is really reaffirming our long-standing support of Ottawa's business community and our belief that Ottawa is a key center for technology and innovation in Canada. And today what I'd like to do is share with all of you our leadership role that we've taken with respect to innovation. But before we go there, I'd like to take you back in time, a time that some of you that I see in the room here probably weren't born yet, but I certainly remember quite well, and that's 1984. So if you think about 1984 was 2 years before Microsoft became a publicly traded company. IBM was 2 years away from launching their first personal computer. And yet, before these two events that combined would really change the world that we live in, RBC had started a technology banking team here in Ottawa. We didn't choose Toronto, we didn't choose Waterloo, we chose Ottawa. It was started by an RBCer, Jim Blattman. Was Jim able to join us this morning? No, he wasn't. Jim really understood that technology was the future and that Ottawa could and would be a player in this new world. So with pride, I can tell you that this group is very much alive and strong right here. We have the team with us today, with the technology team with RBC. Raise your hands. It's a whole group. Excellent. They remain absolutely committed to that original vision of enabling technology companies to thrive and prosper. So RBC still believes that Ottawa has a role to play in the global world of technology. And believe it or not, some of our original team members from 1984 are still with RBC, people that you know, people like Christine McCready, Greg Commons, and they continue to be passionate about helping technology firms in Ottawa succeed. And it really is that stability and that commitment to the sector that allows RBC to be the bank for technology and innovation in Ottawa. And how do we do that? We do that by understanding that no one player can significantly move the needle, that it really requires an entire ecosystem to support startups. And so we like to see ourselves as connectors within that ecosystem. We bring the best of the ecosystem to our clients as their advisors. We are very proud of the portfolio of startups that we have, many of which reside right here in the Innovation Center, but also large publicly traded technology companies, and of course, everything in between. We're proud and active members of Invest Ottawa, L-Spark, the Capital Angel Network, just to name a few. And now we can add being the premier and founding sponsor of the Innovation Center. So many things have evolved since 1984, but RBC's commitment to innovation has only increased throughout the years. I'd like to share some of that commitment with you and how RBC is innovating itself. What we're doing is we're bringing the outside in to our company. We're putting some of our best people with deep knowledge of financial services together with some of our best partners, diverse technological backgrounds, to tackle some of the most interesting opportunities in financial technology. RBC has built innovation labs in Toronto, London, Luxembourg, New York, Orlando, and San Francisco. We've committed $100 million of capital to invest in fintech-focused venture funds and directly into startups. This will give us a window on emerging trends and an early opportunity to work with new technologies. RBC is also a leading partner in the Canadian digital ecosystem. We believe that our focus and investment in innovation is going to help drive the future prosperity and economic success of Canada and benefit each of the communities in which we operate. We're working with leading universities to partner with the best, brightest, and the boldest minds that we can find. We're supporting the advancement of machine learning and artificial intelligence in Canada, ensuring that the country remains a leader in these emerging technologies. We're building a $3 million startup accelerator for student and graduate entrepreneurs to develop and commercialize ideas. And in the US, with the C100 Association, we've helped set up Canada House, which offers co-working space and services to Canadian startups in Silicon Valley. RBC Capital Markets employees are delivering introductory coding lessons at no cost to children around from the ages of 8 to 12 in underserved neighborhoods around the world through its Teaching Kids to Code initiative. In 2016, we were the first Canadian bank to offer a hackathon to the general public. This was an effort to stir innovation, creativity, and leadership in banking payment space. So in closing, I'd like to end by sharing RBC's purpose statement, and it's very simple. We are here to help clients thrive and communities prosper. And I know that by investing in the work of the Innovation Centre and Invest Ottawa, that we are going to achieve both. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gillen. It's now my pleasure to introduce the Honourable Catherine Mckenna, first female Member of Parliament for Ottawa Centre, Minister of Environment and Climate Change, who joins us today on behalf of the Government of Canada, a critical investor in Bayview Yards.
Well, thank you very much. It's really great to be here. Lynette, I was just thinking back to 1984. I certainly remember 1984. I think I was using a Commodore 64 then, which actually my kids are like back into, like, you know, the Pac-Man. First of all, I want to start by recognizing we're on the traditional territory of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe peoples, and I certainly hope as part of this journey towards reconciliation, we can ensure that we have a really smart and talented Indigenous peoples, part of the new startups and the entrepreneurs that we're supporting here. I'm thrilled that the Government of Canada is a partner in this, and you should understand that we are a real partner. We are all in. We really understand the need for innovation to help support our entrepreneurs, our startups, and that we really can do a lot better if we do it together. A year ago, I was here joining my colleague Navdeep Bains, Minister of Innovation, Science and Economic Development, where we announced $8 million for new programming and technology right here at Bayview Yards. Le financement a été utilisé pour soutenir les innovateurs talentueux, les entrepreneurs et les PME qui aident à définir cette région. The building looked a little different at the time, that's for sure, but the passion, drive, and commitment that was in the room remains the same. Au nom du gouvernement fédéral, j'aimerais remercier sincèrement les 8 partenaires fondateurs qui ont promis plus de 1,3 million de dollars pour alimenter l'innovation, l'esprit d'entreprise, l'entreprise et le développement économique ici à Ottawa Centre. I just want to thank the 8 founding members. Good things only get done when people come together. And when I look at, we have everyone on the stage here, we have VIPs in the front row, and then all of you here. This is a real commitment by the community to make great things happen. It started by an idea. I know we've got the former Premier, Dalton McGuinty here, absolutely committed to this vision. And you have to start with a vision, and you have to be thinking big. And what I love is that we have, as I look around, whether it's Invest Ottawa, the Innovation Centre, the business partners, the colleges and universities represented, or the 3 levels of government, everyone's all in. And this is how this is going to really succeed. We may not be you know, as kind of big as Toronto or as loud as Calgary, but I have never, ever seen a more committed community, that people really care here making Ottawa awesome. And this is how we're really going to do it. And one thing I do want to pitch is that we also look at how we can be the clean tech center. We have some really great innovators. I've had a chance to meet all of them. We know that the growth rates in the clean tech center, the clean tech area are huge. But also it's about building a better future for our kids, and I know we're all committed to doing that. So I think, as I always say, environment and the economy go together. So I think there's a really great opportunity in the clean tech space to create the innovations here that'll make a difference in terms of reducing emissions, something I think about all the time, but also for creating really good jobs in Canada, exporting our ideas that are going to, make sure that we have a better planet. So just to say thank you to all of you. We are here to support you. We have many different initiatives going on with our government. We want to make sure that, for example, procurement, that we're looking at how do we procure the innovative ideas, the technologies here in Ottawa. I think that's a critical piece, and we're certainly looking how we can do that better. But more generally, just working with you to create the stories like Shopify. Dalton and I were just talking about the importance of stories. So we want to make sure that we come back here and we have many more stories, that this isn't just a big announcement about we're all doing this and we all stand on stage and we're all VIPs. It's actually about the young entrepreneurs that are out there working damn hard every single day on their idea, but they need support. They need financial support, they need advice, they need expertise, they need to scale up, and we can all help them do that. And we're going to come back and we're going to be telling all these awesome stories, and Ottawa is going to be the center, continue to be the center for innovation. Thank you. Merci.
Thank you for those incredibly inspirational words, Minister Mckenna. We have many stories to tell, and together with you, we will certainly do that. It's a privilege now to introduce the Honourable Bob Farrelly, Minister of Infrastructure for the Government of Ontario, a long-standing and truly committed champion for our region. Please join me in welcoming him to the podium.
Thank you very much, Sonia. Good morning, everyone. Bonjour et bienvenue à tous. First of all, I'm very, very pleased to see Dalton McGuinty here, my former boss, and also Brendan McGuinty, my former boss. As some of you may be aware, over a period of 9 years, I was regional chair and mayor of the city of Ottawa, and Brendan was my chief of staff. Well, in those days, they used to give me advice on my speeches before I gave the speeches. Now they give me advice on after the speeches. So I hope I pass the test, gentlemen. Well, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me to be a part of this exciting day as we celebrate this important milestone for our region, namely, and this is important, recognizing and thanking the 8 founding sponsors who will propel our entrepreneurial community and our economy forward. The Government of Ontario is proud to join you as a partner in this innovation hub. And thanks to Premier McGuinty, our government was the first contributor in the amount of $15 million to Bayview Yards, building on our existing investment in Invest Ottawa. And as we look across this innovation hub, it is clear that this investment is bearing results. I'm pleased to represent Ottawa at Queen's Park and to share our Ottawa story with the world and what that story is. It's really something spectacular, and we don't brag about it enough. Typical Canadians, we're very modest. We don't point out a lot of our successes. In Ottawa, we're going to start doing that. With 1,700 technology companies that employ 68,000 highly skilled people, it's no wonder Ottawa is recognized as a Canadian pillar of innovation. Our city is one of the world's top sites for R&D, particularly ICT, software, and telecommunications. 90% of Canada's industrial telecommunications R&D is conducted right here in Ottawa. That's the message we need to get out. And we are home to and support operations of multinational tech giants such as Nokia, BlackBerry, Ericsson, Corel, IBM, Cisco Systems, Ciena, and Adobe. And of course, headquarters to homegrown successes like Shopify, QNX, Halogen, Kinaxis, and Mitel. In addition to this industry bench strength, our post-secondary institutions collectively execute on research valued at $320 million annually. And the total amount of venture capital invested in Ottawa technology companies over the last decade amounted to more than $4.3 billion. The world needs to know Ottawa is a powerhouse of innovation, and I and my MPP colleagues are committed to working with you to help make this happen. And there's never been a more important time for us collectively. to drive our story home, with the world of opportunity knocking on our doors. We want to thank the Government of Canada for launching the Innovation Cluster Initiative, $950 million that will be dedicated to helping this country build clusters of expertise that drive our digital economy. And what better city to help our country achieve this objective than the City of Ottawa? And I'm pleased that our Ontario government is strategically engaged with the federal government and Invest Ottawa in supercluster initiatives. Collectively, we have all the ingredients required to help Canada realize its innovation objectives, to establish a worldwide leadership role in the surging digital economy. And this initiative begins with 5G next generation networks. With leadership from Invest Ottawa and key partners such as the Centre of Excellence in Next Generation Networks, CENGEN as it's called, LSpark, and our post-secondary institutions, our Ontario government believes we are well positioned for this Canada-wide cluster competition. And it is a competition, and it is a tough competition. And I might add that the Ontario government is proud to be investing $63 million in the CENGEN initiative and investing more than $100 million in Ford, both Ottawa initiatives, to build a new connectivity innovation center right here in Ottawa, creating 295 new engineering jobs. When we collaborate, Ottawa is a force to be reckoned with, and it's time to bring our strengths to bear in ways we have never done before, to take advantage of the opportunities that are upon us. But we know for us to succeed, we need a strong economic foundation. And that's why we've been working hard at Queen's Park to make sure the pieces are in place for sectors such as this to succeed. Over the last 2 years, Ontario's economy has grown by 6.1%. Last year, our growth was double the national average and faster than that of the United States, G7, and the EU. And both RBC and TD are projecting that Ontario will lead all the provinces this year with 2.5% and 2.6% growth, respectively. Meanwhile, Ontario's unemployment rate is now sitting at 5.8%. It's the lowest level since January 2001. And we just recently introduced a balanced budget, which will give us more opportunity to invest in Ontario, and we're doing just that. Last year, we gained almost 16,000 mainly full-time and higher-paying jobs right here in Ottawa. When I mention that to people, they kind of go blank. They can't believe the number or the realization that that's actually happening here in our city. And Ottawa continues to be recognized internationally as a creator of and destination for talent. Very, very important for your sector. Ontario is a leader. You can feel it across the province, and especially in rooms such as this one, where people come together to create and to build. So congratulations to you all, and thank you once again to our 8 founding sponsors for your early leadership. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Farrelly. It's now a pleasure to introduce a leader who's very well known and admired across our community, the Honourable Yasser Naqvi, Attorney General of Ontario.
Thank you very much, Sonia. It's a great honor for me to be here. And I'm particularly very excited for the Bayview Yards to be located here as the representative for this community. The revitalization and rejuvenation of Bayview Yards is not only a rejuvenation of our innovation sector into the future, but is also a rejuvenation of our community where this is located. As many of you recall, this was a building that was uninhabited, not used for a long time. And to be able to demonstrate creativity in this neighborhood by repurposing this building, and not only has helped revitalize this neighborhood and this community and engaging them into innovation and knowledge-based economy, but I think also demonstrates the strength of our city and of our people, which is that we have really taken a building that was an example of the old economy the manufacturing, the mechanical work that got done in this building, to our new economy, which is knowledge-based. And that is so typical of our city, that we continue to evolve and grow. So to me, what's really important and what this building symbolizes, and more important than the building, the people who work in this building, who innovate in this building, who collaborate in this institution, is the assertion of Ottawa's confidence on the global scene in terms of our role and our contribution to innovation and knowledge-based economy. That's what the real symbolism is. That's the kind of work that is going to happen in this building. And I think it's our collective responsibility, along with our founding partners, to build on the vision of our former Premier Dalton McGuinty, and to really be proud about what Ottawa is and what Ottawa has to offer. Because now we've got a place to come together to share those strengths. Now we have a place where we can invite leaders from around the globe to come into this place and meet with our post-secondary education and the research they're doing, meet with our healthcare sector and the incredible research they're doing, meet with our entrepreneurs in Canada and Orleans and everybody in between, and the work that is happening there. Now we have a meeting place to be able to showcase and demonstrate and build on at Bayview Yards. So I very much look forward to working with our partners. We are just starting. There is so much more to do. This project has already been a great success, and I'm confident over the coming months and years, it's only going to get bigger. There is a lot of opportunity in this vicinity to even do more, and I very much, as a member of provincial parliament and as a partner along with our other representatives, look forward to working together to make sure that we continue to build on the success. Thank you very much, and congratulations to everyone for their participation.
Thank you, Minister Naqvi. It's now an honor to introduce His Worship Jim Watson, Mayor of Ottawa, a key visionary and champion of innovation, economic development in our city. He also serves as co-chair of the Invest Ottawa Board.
It's always tough to be last. Everything has been said, but I want to add to the compliments of former Premier Dalton McGuinty, because without Dalton's personal intervention in securing $15 million, we would not be here. So Dalton, thank you very much for your perseverance and your commitment to your community. It's very much appreciated. Merci beaucoup. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a real pleasure to be here on behalf of the City of Ottawa. C'est un plaisir pour moi d'être ici au nom de la Ville d'Ottawa pour donner quelques mots de félicitations à toutes les personnes qui sont responsables pour cet centre d'innovation. I also want to pay tribute, of course, to Steve, who is the chair of the Innovation Center, and David, who is the co-chair of Invest Ottawa. And our current president of Invest Ottawa, Michael, thank you, and our former president, Bruce, who did so much to get us to where we are today. We're here to recognize the valuable partnerships, the original partnerships, the original 8, as we'll call them, outstanding organizations that will help fuel entrepreneurship and business success across the nation's capital. The contributions of these 8 founding sponsors build on the $38 million in public investments in the Bayview Yards by the City of Ottawa that provided the building and the grounds, the Province of Ontario, and the Government of Canada. As I mentioned, the province was first at the table. We asked the previous federal government for funding, and we didn't get a positive response, so I thank the current government and Catherine for her perseverance, and Nav Baines, who was here to announce a very significant contribution, because we couldn't have done it without all 3 levels of government. Et certainement, c'est un autre exemplaire. Quand les 3 paliers du gouvernement travaillaient ensemble, on avait des bons résultats. And just a week ago, I had the privilege of joining many of my colleagues here today with Prime Minister Trudeau as he announced more than $1 billion in funding for Phase 2 of the light rail transit system. Opening the Confederation Line next year, Phase 1, and moving forward with Phase 2 promises to be greatly beneficial to Ottawa residents and businesses alike. It will improve our economic competitiveness as having a reliable, modern transit system that is key to attracting the right talent and new businesses to the nation's capital. And I mention this because the Innovation Centre sits at the junction between the O train and LRT, literally just steps away from us here, means greater opportunities for the Innovation Centre and its tenants. Now imagine by 2023, when the full system is built out, the Innovation Centre will have direct and reliable rail access to the University of Ottawa, Carleton, Algonquin College, and the Centre des Métiers à la Cité in the east end of the city. Think about that for a minute. That's quite an economic and academic powerhouse connected right here at the Innovation Centre. But not only that, our latest plans will also see us go farther west to Moody Drive, right at the doorstep of Canada's burgeoning high-tech sector. The Innovation Centre, like LRT, offers tremendous opportunities for progress and economic growth for our residents, as well as the business community. And of course, today, we celebrate more than $1.3 million invested by these 8 founding sponsors right here at Bayview Yards. On behalf of the City of Ottawa, au nom de la Ville d'Ottawa et tous mes collègues du Conseil municipal de la Ville, I want to sincerely thank the 8 sponsors for helping us fulfill our vision for this innovation and entrepreneurship hub. I share your passion for innovation, and I look forward to working closely with you in the years ahead. And I think those of you who have visited here for the first time will be very impressed with the makerspace and just the setup, the concept of this Innovation Centre. We've taken ideas from other centres around the world and brought the best possible practices right here to the City of Ottawa. Vos investissements nous aideront à demeurer compétitifs et attirer de nouvelles entreprises à Ottawa. We are, as Minister Farrelly pointed out, punching far above our weight in this city, something we can all be very proud of and something we will continue to do. I want to thank the teams at Bayview Yards and the Invest Ottawa for the tremendous work they've accomplished to date. As Catherine pointed out, this was a lot different about a year ago, and the tremendous work by all of the teams, the volunteer boards of directors of both Invest Ottawa and the Innovation Centre. I have the honor of sitting on both of those boards. They have worked hard, long hours to get us to this particular point. And I thank all of you for taking time out of your schedule to come in such great numbers as we celebrate this wonderful legacy project for Canada and Ottawa's sesquicentennial, the Innovation Centre right here at Bayview Yards. Merci beaucoup. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Watson. We're now going to take a very brief moment to capture a photo with all the distinguished leaders on our stage, all speakers that are participating in the founding sponsor panel, Mike Tremblay, our President and CEO, Mr. Dalton McGuinty, and Mr. Alain Baudouin, Vice President of FedDev Ontario. If you could please approach the stage. We're going to take 2 minutes and capture a photo.